Hi, Really community. We have a very special live today. I'm just going to add our guest and we will get started. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? I'm
I'm
great.
wonderful.
Thank
How
you
are
so much
you?
for joining us today. Um, yeah,
Thank you for
everyone, we're doing a
having
really
me.
special live today with Kimmel. We're so excited that we could have her on here today. She is the founder of the Everyday Yogi. And if you want to, maybe we'll just do a little intro for the first 5 minutes, and then we're going to be doing an amazing guided meditation. And so, yeah, we're really excited to have you. If you want to just give us a little background about yourself and what you do, we would love to hear it.
Thank you so much for that introduction. So, my name is Kimmel Alcide, founder of the Everyday Yogi, which is an online platform for both yoga and meditation. So, connecting people through yoga and meditation. But also, I think what I love doing is creating meaningful experiences for people to not just connect to themselves, but connect with other people, and just really cultivating that aspect of
We
community and
love that. That's
togetherness.
amazing. Um, what I do have a couple of questions, and would you say that there's any recommendations or things that you can suggest to our community where people can cultivate mindfulness on a daily basis? That's just easy and accessible for them to do this kind of every day.
Yeah, well, if we think about the definition of mindfulness, mindfulness is uh, living in the present moment without insisting that it be any different than how it is. So, in terms of how we incorporate that in our daily lives, is just tapping into the present moment. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you sensing? What are you hearing right now? What are you thinking about in the moment? And so being able to really tune in every moment and really focus on what it is that you're doing so that if you're, for example, eating food, you're just focusing on eating your food. You're not on your phone texting, you're not on social media, you're not sending out emails. Or if you're washing dishes, you're completely washing dishes and not doing something else at the same time. So maybe staring away from multitasking, um, and just dropping into the moments and the events of your
I
day
love
with
that. And I
intention.
love that you said even something as simple as doing the dishes. That, you is
Mhm.
often something that we look at as just another task and we try to like multitask, but I really love that even something as simple as that and mundane as that can that's yeah. I would love to hear
Exactly,
from you. Like
exactly.
it's definitely something that's become a little bit more present that folks know the benefits of being more mindful and of of meditation as well and all the amazing things that you do. But I would love to hear, just as a little refresher, some of the benefits that folks can experience from practicing more mindfulness and or meditation into their day, just from your perspective, some of the benefits.
That's a great question. Um, I always feel when I'm asked that question, people
Yeah.
can Google the benefits and find the benefits, but I like to approach it from a more personal, a more personal approach. So, in my experience, what I've found has changed in terms of um, before I started meditating and practicing mindfulness to where I am now. I think the number one thing is being able to recognize, my thoughts. Um, and that's one of the biggest things in meditation is learning to sort of fall back behind your thoughts as they're happening, and to really inquire, like, where is this thought coming from, And how is this thought beneficial or serving me in the moment? Is it a thought that is invoking a good feeling, or is it a thought that's taking me into not so great places? So seeing thoughts and then choosing which thoughts that I fuel, and then which thoughts that perhaps I reframe or I choose to let go of because they're just not good feeling thoughts. That's one thing. And I think one of the other biggest benefits that I've experienced is reaction versus response. So not being so reactive to people and situations when something occurs, and really, being able to take that step back and to notice viscerally, like, how am I feeling? Why is this triggering me so much? And then respond from a place of understanding and a place of clarity, as opposed to just blindly reacting to the situation
I
or the
love
person or
that.
circumstance.
I loved
Um,
hearing it from
yeah,
your perspective as well, because there's you just Google it and see like scientifically all of these reasons, but I really love the whole idea of being able to notice your thoughts and the reaction, because I'm sure all of us have had that experience where we've reacted to something and then we look back on it and wish that we had done something we had done it differently, right? It doesn't feel good when we react. So that's great.
exactly. Exactly. And I think another
Oh,
thing
yeah.
I would just quickly want to mention, I know I
No,
know that we have a certain amount of time before
time.
we dive into the meditation. Um, but I think I've also become a better listener. And when we think about all the skills that we are taught, listening is not one of the skills that we're taught. We learn to read, we learn to write, but we don't necessarily learn how to listen. And so I found that from meditating, really just taking time in silence to be with myself, I've become a better listener. And being able to listen intuitively from whatever is happening inside, but also the listening that I then have when I'm in conversation with other people. So it's no longer about listening in order to respond to what this person is saying, but listening to truly understand um, what they're trying to convey. And so we would call that empathic listening. So I think I've become a better empathic listener through this
I love
process of
that.
meditation.
Thank you for sharing that. I think those are three really amazing gems. But,
Yeah. And then there's all the scientific stuff, the brain.
um, yeah, so without further
Yeah.
ado, I would love for you to kind of take the lead here and do what you do best. And again, thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm already so excited to have you. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So before we dive into the actual meditation, I think so biases have been, a topic of conversation in our lives recently. Um, and, many of us have started doing the work in order to sort of shift that paradigm in the way that we think, and the things that we think about, and how our thoughts tend to impact our actions. Um, and so meditation allows us, as I mentioned before, to really observe our thoughts and to recognize what our personal biases are, and the assumptions and the judgments that we make. So in meditation today, in this meditation, we'll practice a sort of non-judgmental noting of what's happening in our mind when we sit in silence. So without further ado, let's find a comfortable space or place to be in, perhaps a space where you feel safe, and perhaps where there's little to no distraction. And if it's not possible to have complete silence, that's okay too. And once you're in your space, take a moment to find a comfortable position for your body. And you can relax your arms, maybe resting your palms on your thighs, if that's accessible. And soften your shoulders. And as you find yourself settling in, you may gently soften your gaze. And you also have the option to close your eyes completely. And take a moment to observe any discomfort and adjust your body as needed. And once you feel satisfied with your body's position, check in with how you feel right now. And simply notice your starting point. And this may include any emotions, any thoughts that you are currently experiencing. And eventually tune into your breathing. Maybe you feel the air entering through your nose, and the breath swirling through your chest and your belly. And from your belly and your chest, notice the breath as it exits, maybe from your nostrils. Observe how you're able to purely rest your attention and your awareness on your breath, even if it's just for a few moments. And you may even explore different aspects of your breath. Perhaps the length of each inhale, the length of your exhales. Making note of where one breath seems to begin and end, and that next breath begins again. And maybe feel the nature of your breath. Is it steady? Is your breath wiry? Is it smooth? And feel the pauses in between each breath. It's almost like this state of suspension. And now, after some time, open up yourself to any internal dialogue that you may be experiencing right now. Perhaps your mind has drifted to a particular situation. Maybe you're having thoughts or judgments about yourself, or maybe someone else. And then listen for whose voice it is. Listen for the tone of this voice. Is it a harsh or critical, maybe a voice that blames, a judgmental voice? Notice how hearing this voice makes you feel. Notice whether you feel tightening or sensations in any part of your body. And they say that the frontal lobe is the part of the brain where we tend to think, the part of the brain associated with memory and with judgment. Notice if you feel any tension or any pressure towards the front of your head, perhaps around your temples. As you continue to breathe, see if you can soften this feeling of tightness and constriction. And explore where else in your body you feel sensations. Sensations that might align with what it is that you're thinking. Recognize any resistance. And regardless of whatever thoughts that are arising and passing, remember that your breath is here to support you. Make note of how you feel when you're reminiscing a past event or something that has occurred, versus thinking or anticipating something that is going to happen. Maybe it's a conversation that needs to be had. remember that in this practice, there is no judgment for whatever shows up. And whenever that harsh, critical voice shows up again, can you reach for a little compassion and kindness? Perhaps softening around whatever it is that you're experiencing. Remain curious, remain friendly. Continue to make note of any thoughts that hold certain biases or any thoughts that may cause potential harm if expressed. And remember that over time, with intention and with practice, those narratives will change. But it is here that we do the work and we keep coming back, remaining open to the present. Eventually come back to just your breath. And perhaps taking a long breath in through your nose and a slow exhale out through your nose. And then maybe you do that 2 more times. Long breath in and softening on your breath out. 1 more time, inhale. And exhale. Good. Now, if your eyes were closed, you may gently reopen your eyes. And just take a moment, maybe coming back to your screen. And thanking yourself for this moment, this time with yourself. And I wish that each and every one of you take this practice through the rest of your day so that you're aware of your thoughts and aware of the impact that your actions might have on others. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Realized how much I needed that. Yeah, that was
amazing.
and
You're
I
welcome,
just
Nina.
wanted to say too that for anyone that maybe jumped on a little bit later, we are going to be saving this. You can kind of go back to it and catch the replay as well. So if you didn't get a chance to do that amazing meditation, recommend going back and checking it out. But I'd love for you to share how everyone can find you. I know myself would love to connect with you and experience some of your offerings. So yeah, if you just want to share with our community where they can find you online or in the city in person.
Okay, thank you so much. So online, you can find me at everydayyogi.co. And I actually have this really amazing self-guided 4-week mindfulness course. So it goes through what is mindfulness versus what is meditation. And we practice 4 different styles or 4 different techniques over the course of the 4 weeks. And there's exercises, everything on there to do daily for 4 weeks. And if anyone has questions, they can reach out to me here on Instagram at Kimmel Alcide or through my website.
And we'll link those below as well. Do in-person classes as well in the city?
I tend to hop around. So I'm usually in the Durham region, so Whitby, Ajax, Pickering, Scarborough-ish area, as well as Woodbridge and Vaughan. And sometimes I pop into Toronto.
Thank you so much again. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us and do this amazing meditation and give us really amazing insight as well. So thank you again, and we look forward to maybe having you on again in the future.
Amazing. Maybe we do a food meditation one day.
Okay, and thank you again.
Awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.